I can't believe it. It's been 1 year. 1 year since I started to create this channel, and 364 days since I started to film some Mitsubishis and a Macflow on an afternoon out, since I had seen other people making videos of hand dryers not too long before that. To keep this long video organised, I've split it into sections, with there being my first ever dryer adventure in the middle of it. Firstly, we look at the progression of my channel. I figured that the best way to show this would be by showing one of my favourite videos recorded in each month. Since I haven't yet uploaded any videos from August, and the video I picked from June isn't up yet, we'll get to see 2 unreleased videos as well. For August 2022, we'll start with the Airblade ABO3 in the accessible toilet on level 2 at John Lewis, Norwich. This video is the first video to start gaining popularity on my channel, and the quality is surprisingly okay compared to some other videos from this time. If you listen closely when I move into this from the sink to the dryer, I can be heard saying it's an Airblade very quietly for myself. I only noticed this when preparing this video. Now on to September. This month was a really hard one to choose a video from, since there are simply so many interesting finds. After a lot of thinking, I decided that the best video from this month was, drumroll please, a PHS Airstream of course. Don't worry, that's not actually a chosen video from this month. I originally chose the ROARR Smart Dry and accessible toilet beefy toilet and gateway. However, further into creating this video, I remembered that I also found the Mitsubishi Jet Tower IO1 this month. I really couldn't decide between the two, as I prefer the IO1, but I've not found another properly functioning smart drive, so I've decided to chuck them both in. bit of progression for my channel in October since I got my iPhone, which creates much higher quality videos than the 810 did, and also started recording the decibels of every drop I film. Whilst my standard videos in 4K, everything has been downscaled for 1080p for this video so it isn't ridiculously big. Unfortunately, my dry finds in October were fairly poor compared to most other months. I've selected the initial branded Mediclex matte flow and the accessible toilet done on lower stuff, since that's about the best dry I found this month. The matte flow isn't in the best of conditions, however I revisit this store just a few weeks before uploading this new video, and it hasn't deteriorated anywhere near as much as I'd expected. Essentially still fairly dodgy on it though. November was a far better month for dryers than October. I've chosen the PHS 1 Howard Air Force and the accessible toilet system at Pizza Express in the Port of Norwich. Whilst I do like the Air Force, I like this one more than most because it miraculously replaced the PHS Airstream Pure. To this day, I'm still very confused regarding this toilet and its access route. However, I'm not going to get into that here since it would take far too long to explain and most people are probably aware of it already. This dryer has one of the fastest startups ever seen on an Air Force. Now for December, when I found one of my craziest finds of all time. If you haven't already figured it out, it's of course the accelerator and at Aldi on Millennium Way lower stock. It used to be a small unisex customer toilet in addition to the accessible toilet, and that still has an accelerator too. However, that toilet is now only used for storage. When the accelerator and the accessible toilet eventually breaks, I hope they swap the disused one rather than replacing it with the S287. Now we step into 2023, when I had the channel refresh. I hardly filmed anything in January because I'd recently filmed most places I'd visited that month. Out of what I did film in January, I've chosen the ABO8 and the accessible toilet at Five Guys Norwich. The ABO8 performs far better than the HUO2 and it's reasonably rare nowadays. February was another hard month to choose from. Instead of choosing my favourite dryer this month, I've chosen the Splash Lab ribbon in widely unisex cubicles at Goodserve Electric Forecourt in Norwich. I've chosen this over an accelerator or pebble since it's the only one of its kind which has been filmed in the UK. Unfortunately though, the performance was very disappointing. March was an okay month for dryers, however there wasn't anything particularly special except for the Bel Air Pebble in the accessible toilet at KFC Beccles. This particular dryer is very special to me since it was the exact unit which started my interest in dryers thanks to its futuristic design and sounds. April was full of amazing finds, and just like September, I found it really hard to choose a specific video, so I've chosen both the Dudley Modified, Initial Branded, Mediclinics Macfleur and the West Accessible Toilet of Braintree Village, and the Style Belch and Ultronic in the Accessible Toilet at E.G. Fickthorn. The Macfleur really took me by surprise, as I almost didn't believe it was a Macfleur at first. At the time of recording this voiceover, I'm due to return here in a few days, so I'll put up a note on the screen regarding its current status. Many people dislike the Ultronic, however absolutely love it due to its crazy performance. May, the chosen dry is the Bel Air Pebble in the middle accessible toilet on level 3 at Lakeside Shopping Centre. The radar lock was the right project for this toilet since there was an official newer style NOC faceplate on the outside, yet the actual lock mechanism and the inner handle were generic brushed steel ones. It's also worth noting that the left hand toilet has a complete official lock and the right hand toilet has a complete generic lock. Sorry train station smart dry, but June's choice is the PHS Warner Howard Air Force within the baby changing room inside the Jubilee North Public Toilets in Lowestoft. This has got to be my favourite Air Force, with my second favourite being the one mentioned for November, for which replaced an Air Force. I don't prefer this because the specs are somehow better than other Air Forces, but instead because this one replaced a nasty Stream Hygiene Oasis knockoff. This toilet was supposedly set on fire by vandals a couple of years ago. However, since the only damage in the other toilets was caused by the fire from this one, I can't help but wonder if the Oasis set itself on fire and they presumed it was vandalism. Either way, the replacement is miles better. July was pretty good for dryers, however it would be rude of me to choose something other than the accelerator located in the male toilet at Starbucks in Castle Court, Norwich. This was an absolutely crazy find, and it's one of only 2 known Starbucks accelerators left in this country, as 2 others unfortunately got replaced. One with an Ike and the other with the worst of the worst. I'll be absolutely fuming if they ever replace this with a bloody Airstream. And now we've reached August 2023. Out of what I found in the first week of this month, my favourite would have to hands down be the XL Dry Accelerator Eco accessible toilet at Byron, Norwich. This one appears to be made when XL will transition into the modern accelerator, since it has a service LED, but the startup doesn't really buzz or click, it just silently but instantaneously comes to life. If there was a such thing as an overclocked accelerator, it will definitely be this one, since it peaked at an absolutely crazy 106.7 decibels. The drawers should have been turned down and /or fitted with the noise reduction nozzle, since they're far too loud for a restaurant. And that wraps up this section of the video. Now we move on to my dryer adventure. Here we have my first ever dryer adventure at ROARR Lenwade, aka Mint Air Force Land, since all but 2 dryers here are Air Forces, most of which are performing just as well as when they came out of the factory. For all of the dryers to be in such good condition, they must have been adequately maintained throughout their life, since Air Forces of this age and Sainsbury's and Morrison's are normally showing signs of aging at best, or almost catching fire at worst. This place is basically a zoo with loads of animals made out of ABS plastic, as well as some, not loads of animals, a load of dinosaurs made out of ABS plastic, as well as some real animals right at the back. At least the dryers here aren't made out of plastic though, except for a tiny bit on one of them. Before going into the main part, we first head to a brand new set of toilets just outside the main entrance, which of course have PHS 1 Air Forces. Instead of there being a full set of toilets, there's just 2 unisex toilets, an accessible toilet and a tiny baby chamber one which you couldn't actually set a fan into unless it was like something tiny. I don't get why you didn't just stick a pole down into the accessible toilet and then you had the baby into the different unisex toilets, and it would just be much more space for you. Now going into the main part, and to the fairly old set of toilets just around the corner from the entrance. These had a small refurbishment recently, which involved installing green paneling in some parts of the toilets, replacing the old metal urinals with modern ones in the male toilets, and installing more PHS 1 Air Forces. I'm not really sure why they bothered refurbishing this set, since it likely now sees less use due to the new set just outside the entrance. These Air Forces replaced their 748s, which weren't all suitable for the application. I'm really glad that PHS didn't get ROARR into an Airstream contract, otherwise they'd quite literally be making dinosaurs out of their airplanes. Now into Dynamite, which is a big soft play area with an overpass path, and into the family toilet / baby changing room where there is a warning powered air force. The accessible toilet in here had something other than an air force, so we'll be coming back to that later. There's also a set of toilets on the exterior of the Lenwade, and I'm sure you'll never be able to guess which dryers they had. I only just noticed that the airflow isn't as it. I didn't know, just noticed. I noticed when I recorded that the airflow on this Air Force isn't really as peak power. It's still better than most of this age and perfectly sufficient for the right dry times. For some reason there was a fire alarm put in this toilet. Maybe it's there just in case the Air Force goes up in flames, which I certainly hope doesn't happen. Now off down towards the secret animal garden, which was completely redeveloped in 2017. I presume this Air Force was built in June 2016, since both of them in the main toilets were. There were also some exterior hand washing stations here, which all had air filters. I didn't film any of them to avoid the weird looks, however I do have some pictures of them which are displaying at the end of this video segment. Now back up the really steep hill and into the splash zone. There's a large info sign by the entrance which said this was a splash zone for illicit splashers only, however that didn't stop me from walking around the edge of the zone to get to the toilets. They would have been better to install SN48s over Air Forces in here, as due to the nature of this zone, most people aren't going to bother drying their hands. The no use is also indicated by the fact that this 2016-ish Air Force is performing just like the PHS Waterhouse policy. These toilets have a similar setup to the new entrance ones, except that there isn't a separate baby room and instead there's fold-down units in both the unisex toilets. This video was filmed in the right-hand side of one. Notice how the walls don't completely reach the ceiling. And now back into Dynamite and into the accessible toilet. As promised, it's not an Air Force. In case you didn't work it out by the marks around the banner of the Air Force, it's of course a Model A. Rather interestingly though, this one looks to have been built just when World Drive transitioning its build date, since there's an L at the end of the serial number but it doesn't actually indicate a date when the drive was built. I'm not sure why I didn't put an Air Force in here, but as an enthusiast I'm glad there's something different. You may remember that I said all but 2 toilets have Air Forces, and the other one is the changing places with a dry flow branded air dry quasar. I couldn't film this though since it's located off the quiet room, which was locked when I visited. I'd assume this was installed over an Air Force due to the toilet's access point, as a quasar is much quieter. Here are the photos of the outdoor hand washing station Air Forces. The first one was built in July 2017, even though it's attached to a building with June 2016 Air Forces. So I'm not sure if this hand washing station was installed at a later date or if the original dryer got damaged during construction of the surrounding area. Dryers 2 and 3 were both built in November 2016. I can definitely remember there being another dryer in place for the final Air Force, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. There was also an accessible toilet in the soft play building, which just had paper towels, so I didn't even bother to take a picture of them. Oh no, not soft play building, the top of soft play building, the main soft play building is Air Force Model A. And that wraps up this section of the video, so now moving on.
And now, since UK dryers failed to retake the voiceover for these final sections in sufficient time, I, a random voice from a text-to-speech website, have the fun of reading from his script, so here we go. Now, I really like hardstyle music, however. I'm pretty sure that you all would have gotten very close to killing me if I had backed the entire video with it. I've decided though that one at the end won't hurt too much. So here's Impact by D-Sturd. And now for the final section of this video, my future goals for this YouTube channel. There were originally meant to be more sections, however the video would have been over an hour long had I left them in, so I've had to cut it down, and they'll instead be included in this year's end of year video. My main future goal would probably have to be finding some modern dryers which are either unseen in this country or are beyond rare. They include the World Dryer Verdedryfo, World Dryer Smartry Plus Mediclinics Dualflow Plus, the brushless variant of the Mediclinics Marchflow Plus, the Excel Dryer Thin Air, and the new generation Stiebel Eltron Ultranix, which look to have many features borrowed from the Starmix TC Bell Heaper. Another predominant goal would be to collect more hand dryers. As I'm sure you know, I now have my own brushed Mediclinics Marchflow Plus, since I got an almost new unit for just $55, which was a fabulous deal. It is absolutely awesome. However, I don't want to stop there. It was hard enough to convince a certain relative to let me have one dryer though. So I don't really know when I'll be able to get more dryers, but I'm sure I will at some point. Many people like collecting older dryers, however. I'm much more interested in modern stuff. Hence why I went for the Matchflow Plus first. Another goal would be reaching 1,000 subscribers, and subsequently monetization, which I think is very much possible since I'm already a third of the way there. Something which has crossed my mind lately is starting another YouTube channel in a few years' time about shopping trolleys, since I'm fairly interested in them at the moment. However, I can't put any promises on that. Whilst I do like lifts as well, I can't see myself ever starting a channel about them, so I believe that just about wraps up this video. I was fairly disorganized with this video, as I stupidly left it to the last minute. but I've learned for next time. I believe the next video in this format will be the end of year video. However, I do have some other voiced over content planned before then, when UK Dryers should hopefully have gotten his life together and ensured that the voiceovers are actually complete, so you don't have to put up with me. Anyway, thanks for watching and goodbye.